Thank you so much for being here tonight. We really appreciate it. And welcome to our very second Decipher Talks event, this one focusing on NFTs. Some of you were able to join us for our last one on DAOs, which I think was also very interesting. If you're not familiar with Decentral House, it is a new Web3 community event space that we're building here in Geneva. The idea is to make it an innovation center for entrepreneurs and startups based in Geneva, as well as a place where the entire Web3 community can join us in events, big and small, throughout the entire year. If you have questions about it, I am happy to discuss it with you. I am the project manager, so it is all I think about all day long, and sometimes dream about too. So feel free to mention anything to me, and I'd love to talk to you about it. For now, I'd like to welcome Rhône from Raiffeisen, who is hosting us for tonight.
Yeah, so we are the hoster, we are Raiffeisen, so we're not the most NFT, blockchain, crypto, whatever.
But you're learning.
Industry, but we are happy to host such people as you and Sheraz and the other. And just like the last time, this place is an open space, open place for anyone, so for Sheraz and all the people. And for you also, if you have any idea or any events that you want to create, we're here for that. And the other things I can say is also that we are very happy with Sheraz because the partnership brings us a lot of value inside the bank. I'm not a banker, but I can see that the bankers are sleeping somehow, and Sheraz is pretty more awake. So, yeah. And we can really see that the future is going to that direction, and it's better to learn now than later or when it's too late. So I hope you're going to enjoy the evening, and just afterwards, in the same space, we're going to have a little appetizers and drinks and whatever. Okay, so who is the next speaker?
It's right here. Yeah.
Do we have a clicker?
No, we do it.
Yeah, okay. Just ask for the okay. So then I would also like to introduce Victor of the Swiss NFT Association. Does it not click on?
It's a bit close to my neck, I think. Is that good?
I think it should be fine. Who will start the evening off. So here we go, Victor.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I'm really excited to be here in Geneva today with all of you. I'll give a quick intro to what the Swiss NFT Association is about, who I am, and how we happen to end up here in Geneva together with Storm Partners, Sheraz, and all the rest of the great team. Do you have the presentation?
The blue one.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Colorful one. Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, my name is Victor. I'm the co-founder of the Swiss NFT Association. Like quick background to myself, I actually come from a complete different environment. I studied biochemistry and life science, and then made my way into the NFT and crypto space. The reason why I say that is I think NFTs are a great example for the fact that you can join the space from a completely different area. It doesn't have to be like a fintech or like banking related environment, which used to be the case for crypto. That was a good way for the finance people to enter the Web3 space, but I think NFTs are a great space, a great way for everybody else to enter into this Web3 and creative area that we're building up. Next slide, please. Yeah, awesome. Quickly to the Swiss NFT Association. So this is our mission. So we're a hub for creativity, inspiration, and networking. So basically, we are a group of individuals, companies, and startups that collaborate closely together. And what we do is we also organize events just like this. We're a partner for this event. We do workshops or bigger conferences. We just had a big conference in September in Zurich with 850 people. So pretty much the first Web3 related conference in Switzerland. And what we do there is we create interaction between different groups. So like if you're in NFT space, metaverse space, VR space, Web3 and blockchain, we kind of want to merge all of that together and create like a hub for networking and collaboration. Next slide, please. This is my wife, Josephine, and we founded it. And this is the team that makes up the core of the Swiss NFT Association. We have Evan Tavakoli, she's our strategic advisor. She comes from the legal aspect, like from contract law, I guess close to you, Erin. Then we just recently launched the ambassador program. So we have 3 ambassadors, Gabriel, Robert, and Patrick. They will be taking over the lead of events, mainly in the Zurich area, which we'll be giving out a schedule soon. So we'll have events like every month to keep the vibe of the NFTs going, and then building up for the conference again that we will have in June. Next slide, please. The way we organize, we have a Telegram channel. If you want to join there, you can just scan that. That's a public channel where we just drop some news. And then we also organize ourselves on Twitter, where we, like you guys know, crypto Twitter. Maybe it's like a little bubble for all the crazy crypto people, where we interact with each other. And then we just launched NFT that represents our membership in September. So we have 3 different member types, individuals, so single people, startups, and then business members. We're happy to say that Storm Partners are our first corporate or business members. So thanks a lot for all the trust. Diamond hands, yeah. Yeah, we have different, like we have crypto names for all of this. The individuals, they're called the OGs, then the startups are the WAGMEs, and then the business ones are the diamond hands. So we're trying to incorporate like the crypto talk into all of this. I don't know if you're familiar with those terminologies, but you know, crypto space has their own jargon. WAGME stands for "We're all gonna make it," in case you didn't know. Quick overview of what we've done so far last year or this year with the association, because we were founded in 2022 in August, but we only had 1 event in that year in November, and then we really kicked it off in 2023. So we had 1 event every month in different areas. I'll give a quick overview of that later. Paying members, we have around 50. We launched our NFT-based membership. We have a metaverse project as well, where we create events in the metaverse. It's on Spatial at the moment. We have a co-working space in Zurich where we meet, where I work most of the time, where some of our members work, where we hold some smaller events like meetups, because that was also a reason for the association, because even though it's a metaverse topic, the NFT space, it's always great for people to meet in person like here, right? You get a cool feeling of being able to talk to people in person. You get this energy from having the physical connections with the people versus just being online in Zoom calls. You sometimes miss this, the social aspect of all of it. We had some partners, but I went into some of that before. So we're also partnering with people outside of Switzerland. So we had a partnership with Paris Blockchain Week, where we did some collaboration with the Swiss Metaverse Association, and some Swiss-related events. Storm Partners again, and then Inacta Ventures was from the Web3 Fest, which happened in September this year. We do a lot of events in Zurich. So we have a few events there last year. We're going to kick that off in January again. So we have 100+ events there. Usually this is the crypto garage. There are normally Alfa Romeos in there, and then we take those out and we have crypto-related events. And there's also the Blockchain Innovation Group is based there. It's basically a consultancy agency which operates out of the garage. So I sometimes work where all the people are standing. There's usually desks there. And we collaborate in a cool environment. Next one. These are the other events. So we did an event in Winterthur, in Kreuzlingen. So even though Thurgau is sometimes at the end of the world for people, there's actually a lot of stuff going on there. There's a big art community actually that comes from Konstanz to Kreuzlingen. So that's actually quite interesting to tap into these smaller local hubs that we have in Switzerland. I think that's a really interesting part of Switzerland too. It's a very small country. The space is quite small, but then if you start to be in the space and you interact with each other, you realize there's a lot of intelligent and good people around, and we just need to interact or network with each other. We did a side event for Art Basel, so there we exhibited artwork from our members. So we had, I believe, 9 artists that exhibited their work there. So we have a very diverse community, so ranging from artists, but then IT people, infrastructure people, legal. We have a lot of legal members from the legal aspect and legal side of things. So it's a very diverse group. Excellent. And this was the big conference that we had in September. So this was with 850 people. It was in the 5-star hotel in Zurich. This was a really amazing event. So we had a bunch of, we organized a bunch of panels, speakers, workshops, and booths. So the Pudgy Penguins had a booth, for example, together with Sylvan sitting in the back. The Pudgy Penguins are a very vibrant NFT project at the moment. They're going really crazy. They have a bunch of good things that are launching, like plushie toys, so physical products, taking the NFTs from the virtual space a little bit into the physical space, and also creating like a new stream of revenue, which is needed in the NFT space. Like we need some new ideas now to keep everything going without just launching new collections and just diluting the value that the holders have. Yeah, I think that was the last slide. So that was a quick overview of what we do at the Swiss NFT Association, and I'll pass it on to the next speaker.
Did anybody have any questions for Victor and the NFT Association? Okay. You're welcome to, oh, there we go.
Yeah, maybe one. Outside from PFPs, what main use case do you see for NFTs in the next bull run?
So what we do with the association also was actually founded from the standpoint that we want to showcase to people that NFTs are more than PFPs. So I think you can categorize it in different areas. The PFP project, in my opinion, that have a strong use case or that have a lot of potential in the next bull run, or are, for example, the Pudgy Penguins, because they create additional things around the PFP aspect, so that you actually utilize the IP that these PFP projects have. So that would be more in the PFP area. But then you can, of course, also use NFTs for example, like real estate. If you have real estate products that you would tokenize under your name, and then you can hold the NFT of the real estate, and if you sell it, then you transfer ownership by selling the NFT. But those are things, I don't think that's going to be ready yet for the next bull run. Like there's a huge legal aspect that needs to be covered first, and maybe it's not even possible from a legal standpoint that if you sign a smart contract that equates like signing a contract, like a physical contract. But that's like my vision of NFTs, that we will use the technology for things like this. But then we probably won't know that you're sending me an NFT and then like the normal end user. I think that's going to come, like that's the long-term vision of NFTs. But short-term, I think it's going to be what we already have seen, just that those projects, they build up on the community that they already have. So I think it's going to be in the PFP area again. And if you look at art, so that was actually also quite interesting. You have a big like collectible, but like one-of-one pieces, so that if you have photographers, for example, there's a big NFT community around photographers that use NFTs. But that's a very like niche and even a smaller bubble than the NFT PFP space. There I see also a lot of potential, but on a very small scale, I think.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I really hope we get to have some more events with the Swiss NFT Association when we have Decentral House fully up and running.
Definitely, yeah.
So now I would like to welcome up Sheraz Ahmed from Storm Partners, who will enlighten us with his views on NFTs.
Yes, perfect. Thanks, thanks, Ellie. And thank you all for being here, and thanks for Raiffeisen for hosting us in this lovely building. Thank you to all the speakers that you're going to hear straight after me speak a little bit. And thanks to Victor for coming all the way from Zurich to be here with us tonight. The Swiss NFT Association doing some really great things. I think the non-profit sphere of crypto really does help bring everything together. So we're always happy to support the association side, bringing people together. It has been quite a hectic past couple of days and weeks, to be very honest with you. That's why I got these really nice Decentral House shoes with a big cushion to help me walk around in all these places. I think the NFT space is a little bit like that. A lot of things kind of move around a lot. I kind of have a lot of perspectives around NFTs, more kind of skeptic side actually. They at least began being a bit skeptic. Maybe we can have a raise of hand who is also maybe a bit skeptic about NFTs. Anyone?
You have to differentiate PFPs and NFTs though.
Okay, we have at least one. Okay, so I mean, I was at least at first, and I give my perspective as to why. I first heard about NFTs as not even the word NFT, but as kind of like unique digital objects in 2018. And it was actually on a cruise ship. That was a blockchain cruise ship. Some will remember kind of the good old bear market days. And it was actually somebody from, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Bahamas or Bermuda, who was using NFTs to be able to fundraise for the ability to go and venture into sunken ships where they knew that there was a buried treasure within them, but they didn't have the funding necessary to go and get that buried treasure. So they were creating NFTs to be able to have a fraction of the buried treasure to be able to go and get it. I was like, wow, this is crazy. I can actually be a pirate without kind of going to jail. I was like, wow, this is really cool. Another use case of blockchain technology, because at the first, when I got involved in 2016, it was only really crypto, Bitcoin, and the likes. And so I was like, wow, this is great. But then when I first heard the word NFT, it was very much around the PFP side of things, right? It was kind of these Bored Apes and the likes. And I think in the crypto space, we're often kind of always have a little bit of kind of remorse around not buying in early. So whenever you don't get into a crypto early, you're always like, oh, I don't like that one. It's like just because I wasn't able to buy in early enough into it. And maybe I have a little bit that kind of fear around it because I didn't get a Bored Ape when my friends told me to before kind of the NFT summer. But I was like, okay, but it's just an image and the likes, what can it really bring? But then when I started to understand that these unique digital objects were, through blockchain technology, were actually one of the only ways to certify ownership in a digital environment. And that's where my, not skepticism, but my curiosity grew further, and I started asking people like Georg Back, that some of you might know, who was the person that kind of sourced 200 Bored Apes to Sotheby's and was the first one to kind of do this big auction. You can imagine how much 200 Bored Apes are worth now. For those that you don't know, I think they're what, like 250K each, maybe, Sharon, you know? Each Bored Ape, does someone know how much one it is? 10K? 10K?
Original version.
Yeah, but like now on the market?
30 Ethereum.
30 Ethereum, okay. Quick maths, anyone?
No way.
No?
Please.
Yeah? That's probably a
Should we
mutant
fact
tape,
check
right?
you guys?
Okay. Anyway, I think they're around 250,000. So 200 of 250,000 objects was quite a lot. Well, they weren't worth that much when he was selling them. But I had a conversation with him and asked him, okay, well, you've been involved in this space for quite some time, and there's some individuals in the room that have as well. Is there another way to certify in a decentralized manner, and even to a certain extent a trustless manner, digital objects? And we did this like deep research, and there are not really any other ways apart from using blockchain technology through NFTs to be able to do so. And so then I started thinking, well, when you look at the statistics, the digital economy, the value of digital is just accelerating more and more every day. We on average spend 7 hours of our waking day connected to the internet. And that's 7 hours, not just here in Switzerland. In Switzerland, it's, to the last statistic, I think it's 5 hours and 46 minutes. I think it's because we have some nice mountains and scenery around, maybe. But 7 hours. So let's say you sleep well at night, and you sleep your 8 hours or so. So 50% of your time you're connected to the internet. But today, we put more value to our physical objects than we do our digital ones. Yet, if you ask somebody what's the name of your neighbor, they'll be like, oh, I don't know, but what's the name of your Instagram follower? They'll be able to tell you all of the 800 that they're following. And so the value of digital is becoming more and more valuable, at least to our day-to-day lives, because time is one of our biggest resources. Yet we do not have really an ability today to put value to this data, the things that we're using digitally. And so that's really where I believe the whole NFT side comes into play, because it's really where unique digital objects can really bring a lot of value. And I'm really happy today that we have the UNHCR and Lacoste. They're going to be able to tell you a little bit more about what they're doing. We discussed kind of what type of speakers we were going to have today with Victor. And my perspective was we could have brought some smaller projects to come and speak to you as well. But I feel like, as with me, sometimes when we see small organizations doing things with, let's say, new technology, we're like, yeah, they're just fiddling around. But I think seeing two large companies like your own, with the UNHCR and all the great things that you've done via blockchain technology for some of the migrants, refugees, and some of the innovative ways as well. And I think you have some new projects coming up that I'm excited to hear about. And also, let's say, with Lacoste, a lot of the community engagement that has happened as well. I think, at least for me, it allowed me to be a little bit less skeptic, and I hope for you in the room as well, it'll bring you closer to what we believe is the future of unique digital objects. So yeah, I think I'll pass it back to Ellie so she can move forward, and then I'm really looking forward to the apéro to be able to discuss with all of you. You're all invited to the Decentral House launch party on the 14th. I think Ellie mentioned a little bit more about what we're organizing in Decentral House, but super excited. Haven't been sleeping too much, so I hope what I just said was a bit was coherent, to say the least. But there's so much that's going to happen locally as well in Geneva, so stay tuned. This is just the second event of many that we're going to be hosting. So yeah, thank you so much for coming, and looking forward to the next time. Thank you.
And to let you know, we just fact-checked him over here, and Bored Ape is 30.45 Ethereum, or about $60,000. Really? Over in the last 7 days, yeah. So somebody's very happy about it. So I would like to welcome up Erin Surprenant from Lacoste to talk about the underwater collection. Do you want me to pin this onto you?
Sure. Thanks.
There you go. They have your hands free.
So I'm going to be reading from something I've prepared because I'm swamped with my end-of-year deadlines and I didn't want to miss anything. Hi, my name is Erin Surprenant. I'm legal counsel at MF Brands, where I'm in charge at an international level of legal work related to Web3 and brand collaborations for Lacoste, the Koepels, Gant, Aigle, and Technifibre. While the Web3 related work is new for me, the fashion industry is not. I began my career in the legal department of Région International, which owns Cartier, Van Cleef & Arpels, Chloe, and some other interesting watch, jewelry, and fashion brands. And by the way, all of the opinions tonight are my own and do not represent those of my employer. Just a little legal disclaimer. I recently managed the legal work for Lacoste launch in the metaverse. We announced last week our presence in the Sandbox, just after Gucci announced their Sandbox campaign the week before. In the Sandbox, users can purchase Lacoste NFTs using the Sand currency. Indeed, many fashion brands launched their NFT projects so that these NFTs could be bought or acquired as artworks or digital representations of brand designs, sold as digital extensions of their brand identity and marketing campaigns. You may have heard of the NFT version of a Gucci Dionysus bag that was sold on the Roblox platform in 2021 for a higher price, approximately 4K USD, than the retail price for the physical version of the Gucci bag. Since these initial experiments, however, many fashion brands are moving away from NFTs as purely artistic projects and are instead experimenting with different uses for NFTs. For example, this suit that I'm wearing is created by a Geneva-based fashion designer, Eleha, and incorporates an NFT tag, right there, which could be an RFID or NFC tag, and which links this particular item to the blockchain, and which identifies me as the owner of only one of 11 suits like this that exist, and which also serves as a kind of a certificate of authenticity vis-a-vis the brand, but also explains the quality and the origin of the materials, which in this case traces its origin to leftover stock of material discarded by Louis Vuitton, and which was purchased by the designer, who proudly uses recycled high-quality materials as part of her work, and which I'm able to read about on the app that I downloaded at the time of purchase after scanning the NFTs sewn into the garment. But of course, while the blockchain's records may be incorruptible, they are only as good as the information entered into it. So this would not prevent a supplier from registering its raw materials as being ethically sourced when they were not, for example. We can see that NFTs provide interesting ways to provide digital identities linked to physical products, and for purchasers to track ownership, and for fashion brands to promote transparency of their supply chain. Similarly, some brands are issuing digital twins of physical products. For example, Louis Vuitton this summer offered for sale NFTs of digital trunks at the hefty price of 39K euros, which were accompanied by physical versions of the same thing. So funnily enough, the marketing campaign put forward the NFT version of the trunks and not the physical. At Lacoste, NFTs are being used in many ways, notably with the hope that they will draw a more tech-savvy clientele who happen to be younger and predominantly from the East, according to a recent PricewaterhouseCoopers report on Web3 demographics. These are customer bases that fashion brands are eager to capture. In fact, according to a May 2023 report from PwC, they quote, or I quote, not surprisingly, the younger the person, the more likely they are to engage with the metaverse. And of course, the NFTs are an integral part of the metaverse. At Lacoste, our Web3 team determined that some users who engage with our NFT offerings are Lacoste devotees, but others are Web3 natives who are curious newcomers to the brand and who represent a new potential client base. But NFTs present legal challenges that are in uncharted territory. For example, in 2022, Nike brought a Detroit retailer to court for trademark infringement after the retailer issued NFTs incorporating Nike's IP. The NFTs included images of Nike sneakers. The retailer claimed that these were not artworks, but were simply receipts against which physical versions of the shoes could be redeemed from the retailer. But of course, the NFTs featured Nike's designs, and most of the holders of the NFTs had not surrendered their NFTs against redemption, ostensibly keeping the NFTs because of their design value or their artistic value. As is typical in cases of IP infringement, Nike sought that the retailer turn over its profits and halt the NFT sales. It also requested that the NFTs be delivered to Nike to be destroyed. But as online commentators have pointed out, the NFTs are transcribed on Ethereum and are indestructible, except in the unlikely event that developers agree to fork the blockchain to get rid of them. This has caused some to suggest that Nike should request that the NFTs be sent to a burner wallet, which would not destroy them, but which would remove them from circulation. At Lacoste, other experiments with NFTs have included engaging customers who hold NFTs, Lacoste NFTs, whether purchased or claimed for free after buying a physical product, by rewarding them with access to exclusive events like tickets to the French Open or access to limited edition items. Soon to be launched NFT projects will involve Lacoste on well-known gaming platforms where gamers will be able to buy Lacoste branded gear with wearable fashion NFTs to be worn by avatars that are so beautifully crafted using proprietary technology that they are in a different league than digital images of fashion that you may be used to. They're digital art pieces. They're very impressive. Given that global gaming revenue is expected to rise from 227 billion in 2023 to 312 billion in 2027, this could represent a lucrative opportunity. And if NFTs are proof of attendance, participation, ownership, proof of something, some have imagined that in the future, a person's crypto wallet will become part of their social profile, in that the NFTs that they have collected from purchases and from attending events will become part of their public profile. If that's the case, you might as well make yours a fashionable one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erin. Does anybody have any questions? Maybe after the panel.
Okay.
We really appreciate that. We have a fun fact that Storm Partners actually owns some of the Lacoste NFTs, including Gio back there, who got one as part of a Christmas present.
Oh, cool.
So now I would like to welcome up Olivier Anselmo, who will be talking about the UNHCR NFT project. And we'll steal that mic back from you. Perfect.
Thank you.
Do you want to hold it or do you want me to clip it on you?
What's the best?
If you want to be able to use your hands, maybe
Yeah,
just clip
then-
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, and
like,
thank
Sheraz,
you,
what are
Storm
you doing?
Partners, for inviting us. Thank you to all of you. I'm not in tech. I'm a humanitarian person. I started my career at ICRC, the International Committee in the Red Cross, in the field, back to HQ, and today I have a role in UNHCR. So maybe if we can go to the next slide. Before to go into the NFT themselves and the project we did, I just wanted to say a word. Why do we go into NFTs? If I'm a humanitarian professional, what's in there for me? So this is what we're going to do very quick. If we can go to the next one, please. So maybe just a word about who we are, because even though we are in Geneva, sometimes we get confused with other UN agencies. So we work in 135 countries. We're here to support people forced to flee at large. So when we think about refugees, but it's not only about refugees. So basically we do three things. We respond to emergencies, we protect human rights, and we try to build better futures. Again, what it has to do with NFT, you're still wondering if you're in the right, if you have the right speaker. I hope the next slides will bring you a little bit more. So we facing a huge challenge because we have been founded just after World War II, and there was 2-3 million refugees. And in 2013, there was over 50 million people forced to flee, and then 10 years later, it more than doubled. So I'm not going to give a history class or geopolitical, reason why this is the case. But for us, what it means is that we need to reinvent the way we do things. We cannot just continue like this. And of course, I could have had a graph, and obviously our budget did not follow these trends. So we have to think about new ways. We have to think out of the box. So it put us in a situation where we need to find how we can scale up. Next, please. So how it started. At UNHCR, we are Switzerland for UNHCR, so we're the Swiss foundation that UNHCR created. Why Switzerland for UNHCR? Well, as I think Victor said before, Switzerland is, we have a lot of unfair advantages when it comes to blockchain. Basically, we have a very good legal framework that allows us to do some projects that would have been difficult to do in other countries. So, and maybe we can go to the next slide. This was our first NFT. So for the 70 years of the creation of UNHCR, we did 70 NFTs with the Palestinian refugees. So his name is Hani Abbas. So he was born a refugee in Syria. And then he was a refugee again because of the situation in Syria. So, and he lives in Geneva, by the way. So we had this project with a refugee because it very much resonated with us. But then we realized it didn't really talk to Web3 audience. So we didn't really make a lot of money out of it. But what we did is that we learned. We learned. It was not easy. We didn't fail, but we did not succeed. But we kind of, experienced. And it helped us to grow, to convert ourselves to something, to now what we have today, which based on the experience we had with the Hani Abbas NFT project, now we have launched other projects. So maybe next, please. So just after that, we partnered, and this is not an NFT project. This is with a blockchain that is called Cardano. Some of you will know. We have launched a stake pool with the Cardano Foundation that has made quite some buzz, and we've been using NFT in order to promote this stake pool. So basically, this stake pool helps to raise funds and raise awareness. So when we're talking about use cases of NFTs, this is exactly what we're looking for. Because NFTs for just the sake of it is not interesting to UNHCR. What is interesting for us is real life added value on the ground, responding to the needs of the people forced to flee. So next, please. Through this stake pool, basically, we say that the money that we're going to raise are going to go to the two things: refugee-led innovation fund, three things, sorry. Refugee-led innovation fund, data innovation fund, and what we call the less funded crisis. The crisis you will not hear about because they're not in the media, but basically they're extremely underfunded. So the whole rationale, and I'm showing you this because this relates as well to what we're going to do tomorrow. So the whole NFT program we have done in the last year relates to advocating towards and for our stake pool. Next slide, please. So our journey, if you wish, led us to, and this is just a sample of some projects we did. If you can go to the next one, please. So we partnered with Turf and NMaker, some of you might know or not. So basically during Paris Blockchain Week and Consensus, which was in Denver, so two blockchain convention, if you wish, the proof of participation, proof of attendance was NFT that was done in partnership with Turf and NMaker, and that shows a design that relates to our mandate. So you can see Odessa in Ukraine, or another Dnipro in Ukraine, or Uganda, and basically you could, as a participant, choose to purchase this NFT, which all profits would come to us. So this is kind of, and of course we did it with Turf that has these great visuals, and that and you can see it's the map of the city here, or it's the map of the country that was in limited editions. If we can go to the next one, please. Then we partner with Goat Tribe. So this is our logo that you can see here. And this was a fundraising NFT project we did. And it sold out in 48 hours. So we then thought to ourselves, damn, we should have put more NFTs out there. But anyway, we're learning, right? So, so this was another quite interesting project. And as well, we're trying to raise awareness through it, not only money. So basically, Rux, that my colleague that is here, is super active in the community management as well, because we're thinking, okay, people that own or NFTs, people that are blockchain, that are involved in blockchain are probably different from the usual public that we speak with. So for us, it's a mean towards something, you know. Maybe next slide, please. And another one that we did, and I wanted to show you because it's full of hope, is sometimes you think about humanitarian action with the cliche of the people that are underfed and poor, and you go there with pity, right? And this is human nature, and it's okay. We feel this, but we wanted to show it in a different way, and we partnered with Shadina Sar, and these are real people and from different contexts, and it's kind of, if we were in their shoes, what would be their world without displacement? So those are real refugees or people forced to flee. So for example, this little girl, you see her and you don't see a refugee, you just see another human being, you just see a little girl, right? And this is exactly the kind of message we want to pass as well. Again, this was a partnership with NMaker, and we have been doing some fundraising through it. Honestly speaking, we're not gaining millions here. We're having a few thousands, but we're making a lot of buzz, and we're paving the way for more. So the use case for us is that we need to learn, because we're not, end purpose for us would be to collect a lot of money and raise a lot of awareness, obviously. But, one step at a time. So the way forward, and I'm almost to the end of the presentation, but now we see that, okay, we learned, we see as well what challenges we have ahead of us, and we are thinking as well, how can NFTs contribute to grow this fundraising and this awareness raising? So, and I'm going to show you a little bit our future project that I'm happy to say that we're having with Shaban and Everdream Soft. So some of you might recognize this is a Geneva artist. I mean, a guy from here that is, whose drawing you can find every here and there. So basically, we're about to launch 12 NFTs as a collection, representing the most underfunded crisis, so the 12 most underfunded crises. And the idea is that now we are trying to address one challenge we have, is that a lot of, when you do fundraising, this is a bit of our business, when you do fundraising, you have a lot of one-off gifts. So someone will give 100 francs today, and then we don't hear from these people anymore. Through NFTs, we want to look about how to make this a collectible. And of course, the message is strong. And again, we want to show these countries, for example, this is Chad, this is Iraq, this is Democratic Republic of Congo. And every time you have the shape of the country and you have a few elements that the artist decided that relate to the country. And And we think that this gives a strong positive message about these countries. Because I don't know if you've been in the media lately, I don't know what you heard positive about Chad, Iraq, or DRC. But of course, there's a lot of positive things to say about those countries. Having collectibles NFTs is something we haven't done so far. So we're about to launch it. And yeah, we will think as well what else we will do in terms of NFT. But again, and just to conclude on that, for us, it's really about the end goal, which is to fulfill our humanitarian mandate. It's not about the tool itself, it's what it allows us to do. So thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Olivier? Many. Okay. Erin?
Do you happen to know if they're available for purchase on the secondary market?
There will be.
What
You mean the one, the last?
that you've launched previously?
So we didn't look, to be honest. They should be. It's true that the way we designed them, we did not really consider having secondary market profit out of the secondary market, I would say. So.
Actually, the one with the last one, Chad and Nassar, is still alive.
Oh.
There are still some available, and you can burn them
Oh,
to
nice.
get the physical.
So you guys can all find them right now.
Yeah. Don't know.
I'm curious if you see like an intersection between the problems related to identity that refugees face and the solutions that are kind of tentatively offered by blockchain technology on digital identity. Is that like an area you've explored?
Yes, it's a question we've been discussing at length. So it's not linked to NFT, but it's true that one, and maybe just to say that one big challenge that people forced to flee face is that when you're forced to flee, usually it's quick. So you don't take your ID, you don't take your medical records, you don't take your copy of your certificates of school or whatever, and then you reach wherever you reach, and you have to prove who you are and what you've did, and etc. So digital identity, but not only identity as such, but more like medical record, school record, is a big challenge for millions of people. So we are thinking how we can do this. And this is not only UNHCR, it's with other UN agencies we're thinking, and there's like a working group trying to elaborate on that. We were not long ago, we were in the Cardano Summit, and we're discussing how we could do it and what should be first. I think what we're facing as a big challenge is the investment. There is a rise in the need, and there's a stagnation, if not a small decline in the budget. So basically we're faced by, okay, if I invest in that, I'm going to have to give less to a country where there are people forced to flee. So it's really about, and we would love to do it, but of course it's not a small project that you have 2 consultants working on it for 6 months. So I don't know how fast we can go. The ideas are there, the will is there, it's more about the budget.
And there's also some issues with EU data protection laws because you're meant to have the right to be forgotten. And on the blockchain, that's not always. With ID related matters, that's not always.
And it's data protection, but it is protection of the person as well, because you have to have, when you're forced to flee, it's because you're fleeing from something. So what you're fleeing from, if they get, might be a government, maybe a whatever, if they get the information about you, so it's I don't want to go too much into this question, but it's super tricky, and I'm happy to discuss further around it. Yes?
Yeah, just a quick one. I was talking to a business that uses NFTs to represent assets, and their business model makes money off the first sale, but then they also get a percentage of the value each time it's traded in the secondary markets. And I think that would kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone in your case, where it would encourage virality, because you can tell people every time you pass this to someone else and you pass the message with it, you're also funding us. Now the money may not still be a huge amount, or you could find a large donor who locks a certain value into it that gets returned to you every time it passes to a new person. But the more important part is the message would grow, and I think your funding is directly correlated to how loud and how clear your message is being circulated.
Yeah. No, it's an excellent point, and I think this is something we did not identify in the first NFT, collections we did. Now with the project we have with Everdreamsoft and the one that you saw just before this representation of the 12 most underfunded crisis, we are thinking about how to do secondary sales. So clearly, now of course secondary sales, you know that they could be traded somewhere where you don't even know that they have been traded. So it's more kind of a moral engagement from the people that would purchase them. Still, we want to address it. It's a very good point, both in terms of fundraising and in messaging.
The people in this room are exactly the type of people who could tell you how to get, both.
Sounds like you have some networking to do during the cocktail.
Oh yeah, for sure, with pleasure.
Well, thank you so much.
You're
I think
welcome.
it's been fantastic to hear about the evolution of the NFT and how it's being related to luxury retail, something with refugees that I never really would have thought for an NFT project. So it's been so wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I would like to invite our speakers back up. Erin, if you would join us, and Victor, come on up. And Gio will be moderating our panel. I'm going to clip this on you. Nice and fancy.
Yep.
And then, you guys will just have to pass it.
I can do it. Au best. Ouais, c'est pas grave.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I would like to start from Oliver. I have a couple of questions for you. I'm pretty interested in understanding how the United Nations for Refugees Agency first discovered about NFTs. So do you have like a specialized team that do researches in this kind of technologies? How did you realize that you actually can raise funds for humanitarian causes? And also, how did you manage to convince maybe other members of this organization that NFTs were actually a legitimate way to raise funds?
To be honest, it was a bit a random fact. We are so in the foundation I am in the Switzerland for UNHCR. We have a small innovation team. So basically, it's Ruxanda, another colleague that couldn't make it tonight, and myself with the support of Leila, for example, that has been very, very, very helpful. So we kind of started by just exploring as innovation at large what could be, and then we kind of were in contact with Hani Abbas, and we thought, okay, let's just give it a try. And this is where it was kind of hard because we were not very surrounded by professionals, and so we tried and we failed or not succeeded so well. And then we had a partnership with Cardano. Cardano, which is a blockchain, it's not number 1 or 2 or 3 blockchain, but still a very, very relevant and powerful blockchain. And through this blockchain, we learned a lot, thanks to them, thanks as well to the time we put in it. And I still remember 1 year ago going out of a meeting and talking to my colleague Alvaro and say, well, I have not understood one word. And still today, there are some meetings I'm walking out, I'm like, well, I'm 80%, but not 100. But what I mean here is just being curious, going out there, and just what we have as a strength is that we're humanitarian, so we know what we would need on one end, and now is how do you relate the other one?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I answered your question properly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you so much. So I have another one for you, Oliver. In what way do you see NFTs be able to reshape the landscape for donors' engagement? So do you think there are any aspect or characteristic of NFTs that resonate more with donors, encouraging them to actually participate in this kind of engagement in supporting refugees' causes?
So we have explored through fundraising and awareness raising. So we are kind of the inflow, if I may, and now we should be looking more at the outflow. There are a lot of use cases, there are a lot of real cases I could think in some countries how to use, blockchain for sure, NFTs to some extent. We discussed about the digital identity. Could it be through some kind of, no, I don't know if I don't want to call it NFT, but some kind of digital asset anyway. So convincing donor is something that we are good at when it's traditional philanthropy. And now what we need to explore is more the Web3 / avant-garde philanthropy. And here we would really welcome discussing to learn more, because we need to learn how to better do that. So I'm afraid I'm doing like in French we say une réponse de Normand, so it's neither yes nor no. But yeah.
Okay, merci beaucoup. So I will move forward to Erin, if it's possible. I have a question for you. What was, for some, probably you already answered before, but I would like to ask it again. What was the primary target audience for the collection that you released? And was it exclusively aimed to gather individuals already engaged in the Web3 sphere, or also some people external from this industry?
Yeah, mostly gamers, mostly the Asian market. But apparently there were some Lacoste diehards who also checked out the NFTs as well. So.
Okay. And in what way do you see NFTs enhance the engagement and the relationship between Lacoste and their community? So I don't know if you have just one example of how NFTs have actually fostered a deeper connection with Lacoste brand.
I guess if you're using it as a kind of extension of personal branding, then you become more engaged with the brand because you're identifying with the brand like publicly. So I would think that could lead to more engagement.
I think maybe one for me in terms of because I think we all know Lacoste in this room. For me, I was in Paris maybe 6 odd months ago, meeting some of the Lacoste team and understanding that like Roland Garros happening, and the fact that I could have one of these NFTs be put into the raffle and then engage with the community around tennis. And then I started seeing myself going deeper down a rabbit hole thanks to that NFT, and then ended up buying one. And I was like, I actually really like this one. And I got another one, and then it being 5. And then gave them some team members as well. And seeing them then dive deeper into not only Lacoste, but then the sports industry, and knowing, well, if you have a pair of skis behind your crocodile, you can maybe go to one of the X Games or something like this. So for me, and maybe as a kind of consumer of the NFT, that's kind of what resounded with me, that it connects you not only further to the brand, but kind of subconsciously to like other elements of the brand, and then it kind of boomerangs back. And so I think that was a really cool way for me, at least.
Yeah, and for a while the brand accepted crypto payment in stores, but they've axed that because it was too complicated. I guess that could bring on a new group of customers as well.
Okay, that's cool. There's another point I would like to touch. That's I think that's very important for me. I'm very interested in it, but is the connection between the real life event and let's say the digital ownership of something. I've seen that in the roadmap of the project of Lacoste, there is like creation of this kind of meetings, and so how do you plan to create events? Where is the difference in the Lacoste events? What do you want to create?
Well, they're offering some VIP experiences to the people who engage the most with the Web3 space. For example, like styling, access to styling. There is an idea to launch a co-creation project where the best customers, or the people who engage, I don't know how they're going to define who are the best customers, or if it's just people who engage the most with the Web3 community. The ability to design their own products, but that's complicated from an intellectual property point of view because there's strict rules about using the logos and stuff. They can't manipulate the crocodile, for example, in certain ways, or else it's no longer protected by intellectual property laws. Or you can't put like a Nike swoosh in a Lacoste crocodile. So we want to give the users freedom to create products, but we don't know we haven't figured out how to do it in a way that would respect their IP regulations and boundaries.
Okay, that's good.
But that's an upcoming project.
But right now, if I want, like, can I print my crocodile on a T-shirt?
There was a project, but it was limited in what you could do, because we also can't put the brand at risk, I guess, and have crazy T-shirts and sneakers. But we're working on a way to launch that.
Okay, last one for you. Okay, no.
Yeah, so would you launch that globally, or would you focus on a specific
I guess
jurisdiction?
globally, yeah. We were talking about doing that online.
But would it be easier if it would be focused on Switzerland or France, for example?
Yeah, I guess. a test market.
Exactly.
So, the deputy CEO of Lacoste, Catherine Splinder, right? She said that she empathized Lacoste vision beyond the NFT trend, let's say.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, how does the brand aim to leverage blockchain technology in general as a part of their identity and not just as a trend?
Oh gosh.
Well,
I guess
Tricky questions there.
Yeah. I guess this project that we're launching soon on 2 big gaming platforms, that'll kind of bring it out of just NFT-based stuff and also just broader metaverse-related projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Merci. So, Victor, I have a couple of questions for you as well. Of course, you guys are doing a lot of workshop, a lot of focus group researchers, but education is essential, no? So, with the Swiss NFT Association, are you targeting some universities, some school? Are you planning to create some educational process and share knowledge about this industry?
Well, one of the initial ideas that we had when we founded the Swiss NFT Association was to bring forward education in the form of events so that people can learn and listen from actual products that launched, what they went through. So to learn in that way. So from actual products that were already market tested. So I think that's always the best way to learn from somebody that actually did it. But then the other way, what we do is with workshops, so that you go through the basics. And actually, we're bringing out our yearly calendar soon, where we have all our events in there, and there we will have certain topics of each quarter focused on the basics, but then also going more into the business side. So that's kind of the theme that runs through the association. And then with specific partners, we are looking at a few, but we didn't define anything yet. But that's definitely something that we want to do, to be incorporated also into the Swiss ecosystem from an education point of view. Yeah.
Okay. And I also see that the association wants to expand, no? You want to reach out new European countries. So maybe it's worth thinking about a rebranding of the name, like a European NFT Association. Or why is your focus on Switzerland?
Yeah, we heard that a few times. In the beginning, I guess we were thinking a lot about the Swiss market, also because of the reason that which Switzerland has in the world or in Europe for the crypto space. So yeah, we're very well regulated here. We have a lot of companies that are based in Zug, now also in other cities throughout the country as well. And another reason is Swiss still stands like for a symbol of quality. So yeah, maybe somebody else will still want to say he's part of the Swiss NFT Association and have like a little Swiss flag stamp of verification. No, but we're also thinking about ways how to incorporate partners from abroad. And we're working with the Blockchain Federation in France, like loosely for certain events, and we can definitely build up on that with Germany as well, looking into stuff. Yeah. So.
Cool. Okay, so I have the last question for Sheraz. If you guys have something in mind, please raise your hand. So we'll let you speak. So recently there has been the 27th season of Fortnite, nicknamed Fortnite OG. Basically, it ended with this massive record-breaking show of Eminem, and it marked a peak in the engagement in the streaming activities. It was very, very big, And in a certain way, it set like a standard for this new, for the merging of games, entertainment, and live streaming. So my question for Sheraz is, could the integration of NFTs into this kind of online events, gaming, and ticketing also, could be the one of the catalysts for the next cycle? And if not, what's the role for you? What's the role for you of NFTs in the next bull run?
Yeah, okay, difficult question, or many questions in one. So I definitely believe that it can support through immersion. I think as soon as we get to become a little bit more familiar with the virtual worlds, and the fact that if we're putting on an Oculus, or if we're just entering into kind of an RPG, a role-playing game kind of environment, that it's okay. We're not a nerdy gamer if we're doing so. It's kind of to normalize that a little bit. I think that then will bring a lot there. I think the fact that if you have one of those digital unique objects, kind of like Erin was mentioning, and you can see that you've interacted more with the brand in certain moments, you can have more of an immersive experience. Maybe there's kind of seat rows, and it's all dependent on your engagement in some way. I think that can kind of add some gamification. I think we've seen, I mean, I used to be a gamer, I didn't know that Fortnite was on its 27th or 28th season. But as a gamer, you know, for example, I played a lot of World of Warcraft. Yes, okay, I'm a nerd. But I played a lot of World of Warcraft, and you were playing this game, having a lot of fun with friends, family members, etc. But then you do a lot of work, do a lot of things, spend a lot of time. But then every November, when there was a new season that would come out, all of that work went to zero. Because you couldn't exchange it, nothing could happen, you had everything was kind of 10x more valuable, so you just ended up doing all that work again. And I think the ability to incorporate certain forms of NFTs there, where you can actually sell things, you can kind of have that unique objects, you can kind of even create some form of like Hall of Fames where things are kind of recorded. I think it allows then even interoperability between games. I think there's so much that you can do with those unique digital objects. And for me, as a gamer, maybe it would have made me more involved in the game. Maybe I wouldn't have done all that I did in the real world with Storm and Decentral if that would have happened. So maybe it's a good thing. But I think there's a lot of ways that they can help out. And I think as soon as we become a little bit more accustomed to the virtual world, I think, things will just get smoother on that side for good or for bad. But I think we can debate about that in the apéro as well.
Cool. Okay. So
I think DJ has a question.
I have a question. It can be Sheraz. I think Swiss NFT Association policy would be a good one. What is the most interesting or intriguing use of NFT technology that you've seen in the last 6 months from a business standpoint? So in terms of how it was actually applied, and why was it interesting? Was it a tech thing? Was it a storytelling thing? Or was it just used in a new way?
This is me creeping slowly to next question so that I can think about my answer.
I mean, I can't give you a specific project that comes to my mind right now in the past few months, but what we have been like looking for with the association is to, I think a lot of people are looking for answers here, because it's cool if you have your NFTs in your wallet and you can use it in the online space, but it's kind of hard to create this bridge to the normal world. So it's like actually quite tricky to, like what we wanted to do. We have an NFT that represents the membership, right? So what we wanted to do was to use that NFT. If you go somewhere and then you can scan it, for example, and you get access to an event, right? But then that requires that the NFT is in the wallet on the phone, that they can sign certain transactions, they have to have internet access. So there's like a bunch of stuff that doesn't really come to mind directly, but that needs to be there to make this work. And at the moment, it's still connected to Web 2. So like you have a Web 3 solution, the NFT, but you still need to somehow connect it to a local database or something like this to get some proof of attendance. And we're also still looking for a way how to integrate it smoothly into the whole Web 2 world, but keeping it Web 3. So I don't think we're actually there yet. I don't think there's a great solution that comes to my mind at the moment for it.
I have a question for Erin on the legal side. When do you own an NFT? What do you own exactly when it comes to the image or the underlying asset, in your opinion?
So we in some of the contracts that I've worked on, we limit the end user's rights for some things, like the end user can't commercialize. We sometimes will stipulate that the end user can't commercialize the NFT because we don't want them to make a profit or continue selling the NFT. Or we'll say that the end user can't make derivative works with the NFT because we want to control the intellectual property of the NFT. So we kind of break down the rights in a very granular way for what the end user or owner can do.
So you cannot resell?
You can stipulate that.
Okay. I mean, for Lacoste, for example, NFTs.
It depends on the contract.
How many projects are you working on? Contracts?
Tons. Like
Yeah.
there's just there's tons of projects in the pipeline.
But the one that's launched right now is the underwater one. Is it?
Well, actually, last week we launched in the sandbox, and so yeah, the end user of the sandbox, obviously they have to comply with the sandbox's terms and conditions, but we also don't allow the end user to make derivative works from the eventual NFTs that we may be selling in the sandbox, or well, actually they're going to be allowed to sell the NFTs in that case. But we're working on another project where the NFTs can't be sold. I would guess that ownership takes place when payment is made, like arrives in the coin wallet.
Yeah, if I may piggyback off of some of Erin's answer, maybe respond a little bit to Didier's one as well, and because when kind of speaking with a few of you at the beginning of the drinks, there's a few people that have just started their kind of crypto blockchain journey. I think from the answers that everyone has given here today, we are very early on. I mean, but there are still some of these large organizations that are venturing into the unknown, if you want, a little bit, putting budget resources around it to be able to see what can work and what can't. You know, there is that kind of cost to being that kind of front runner, kind of pushing things forward. But I think for everyone in the room, it is still very early on, so you're not too late to get involved and to still continue to innovate, because we're still trying to find the finality in a lot of the utility that is here. So for all of you that might be worried that the NFT fad or the kind of the blockchain fad is kind of way behind us, there's still so much longer to go. And so I'm really excited to see where this technology takes us. I think DJ, yeah?
Just to share one thing, and I say it because it struck me. I was at a women's startup investment event in Zurich the other day, and I can't remember the company name, but they minted a 2000 CHF gold coin that at the center of it had an NFT, right? And sometimes the value of the NFT surpassed the value of the coin. In fact, it always did, because they sold that coin for 8,000 CHF. So there was a 6,000 CHF pickup because they had an NFT chip in it. And then the result of that campaign, so they purchased 100 coins, so $200,000 or CHF outlay. They received 800,000, so they made a $600,000 profit on that. And then 250 global tier 1 publications picked up the story. So they made 1.29 million in additional eyeballs cost off that. So I think if we want hard benefits out of using NFTs, maybe the hype is gone, but the value is still there.
Some great closing words, I think. Thank you so much for all attending. Maybe we can also give an additional round of applause to our lovely moderator. And I think we're a little bit late for the apéro, but I think we can kind of take it from there, unless Ellie has some final words.
No, I was just going to say thank you all so much for being here tonight. I would like to thank our speakers again for joining us and sharing about your projects. Please join us for the apéro. We have wine, we'll have some snacks. Please feel free to approach them and ask other questions, unless they don't want you to, and then stay away. And then please also, if you're interested in talking to me about Decentral House, I am happy to do that as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.